Hi everyone, my name is Caroline Kelly, and today I'm joined by Jenna Fusco, Megan Gillard, and Lucas Markey. So because this is a recorded video, we want to go as in-depth as possible and not leave you with questions. So we want to give you a brief overview of what customer lifetime value is. So what CLV is not purchase by purchase and how much money a customer spends at a time to the company, but rather what a customer is worth to the business in the long run. And it costs less to keep existing customers over acquiring new ones. And increasing your value of existing customers is a great way to drive growth in your business. And we know that retention rate is important, and that is also the rate at which customers return, but you can also look at the attrition rate. And the attrition rate is the rate at which customers leave. And you can calculate this by taking the customers you had at the beginning period divided by the customers at the end period. And this can be beneficial to use if you notice that a lot of customers are making one-time purchases throughout their time as a club member. So there are numerous ways to improve your customer lifetime value. First, you can invest in customer experience, and customer experience is made up of every instance of connection between a customer and the club. So including store visits, your contact center queries, purchases, product use, and even their exposure to advertising and social media. You should also ensure your onboarding process is seamless, and this is especially true because of the e-commerce. So customers need care after the purchase. So you need to make sure that your onboarding process is optimized for your customers' needs, and that it's as simple and easy as possible for minimal customer effort. You could also potentially start a loyalty program. So a loyalty program incentivizes repeat business by offering discounts or benefits in return. And it might take the form of a loyalty card or app, or point system that customers accrue when they make a purchase. You should also recognize and reward your best customers, and we'll discuss this option later in the presentation. You could also provide a variety of support. So there's going to be many customers that you have that will want different ways of wanting to be supported, and your support channels should reflect this. So now we'll show you the formula that we use in order to calculate CLV. We use the formula of profit generated from member total divided by the interest rate plus the churn rate. We found the total profit generated from each member by multiplying the customer's total sales by margin. And the margin was specific to e-commerce or on-premise sales, and how we found these margins will be discussed later in the presentation. For simplifications of calculations, we assume that the interest rate would be 10%. However, if you want to change it, you can within the Excel, and it would update the numbers to reflect that. We also found the churn rate by subtracting the retention rate from 1. And these rates varied based on frequency of sales and if sales are made on-premise or through e-commerce. It's also important to note that there are alternative methods to calculate the customer lifetime value. In what is known as the simple CLV formula shown here, this is beneficial if you know your customer acquisition cost. So you take your annual revenue per customer and multiply that by your customer relationship in years, and then subtract your customer acquisition cost. I'll now pass it off to Jenna to discuss retention rates and margins.
Thank you, Caroline. As mentioned earlier, the retention rate is a key factor in calculating the churn rate. So therefore, we created a system for determining the retention rate for each of the wine club members. For members that either ordered online only once or only purchased on-site once, these members were given a retention rate of 50%, which equates to a churn rate of 50% as well. For club members that ordered 2 to 3 times online but never visited the premises, these members were given a retention rate of 65%. We continue to assign retention rates for the following groups of members by looking at their purchasing behavior. Club members who made at least one purchase online and on-premise were given a retention rate of 80%. Members who made between 4 to 7 online purchases but did not visit your winery to make a purchase were given a retention rate of 90%. Finally, club members who made 8 or more purchases online or made at least 2 purchases online and made 2 visits to your winery were given a retention rate of 100%, as these customers who made several purchases online and visit the winery multiple times a year we determined were the least likely to leave the wine club, which is why they were giving 100% retention rate. Now taking a deeper dive into the margins that were utilized in our calculations, we utilize different margins for the different types of distribution channels that you have. For sales that were made through your e-commerce platform, we utilize a margin of 33%, as this is around the industry standard for online wine purchases. For on-premise sales, these margins are historically much higher, as we utilize a margin of 50% when calculating the profit for purchases made on site. It is also important to mention that if customers made a combination of purchases of both on-premise and e-commerce sales, we took the sum of the revenues made through the e-commerce platform multiplied with its respective margin of 33% and revenue made on-site multiplied by its respective margin of 50%. Now, Luke is going to walk you through the Excel to take a deeper dive into these CLV calculations.
So the data was very raw when we first got it. So we had to do some coding to get it down to the sample size that we wanted, the data that we could work with. So for starters, we took the e-commerce Excel file and we had to make it so that only wine club members were being looked at in this. So we just did some coding in R where I took the price. If the original price was larger than the price, that means that that person was in the wine club. So I was able to cut down the rows to only show those people. And with some more coding, which I don't really have to get into right now for time's sake, I was able to get down the data to what we really wanted to talk about. And I'll show you that in the Excel. So here's our Excel file. And basically what this is just because the data is so large, for the sake of the presentation purposes and being able to clearly show the data, this is just a sample where we cut down of 50 club members to show how we calculate their CLV. So for example, take Frank Borsas here. We got his his total profit generated from his sales. And then we multiplied that by an interest rate of 10. And then his churn rate, we gave him 35% because this person ordered, he ordered 2 online orders. So that gave him a retention rate of 65. So 1 minus 65 is 35%. And put it into the CLV formula and you get about $1,376. So taking this with someone else who has a different churn rate. So let's say someone who, like Dr. Elizabeth Conroy, for example, she had on-premise and in-person sales. So that gave her a churn rate of 0% because we figured if she had multiple online and on-premise orders, so that gave her a retention rate of 100%. And plugging in with the same interest rate of 10%, this gives her a customer lifetime value of $14,403.96. So with all the coding we did, this is how we were able to generate each person's profit total on-premise and online. And if it was the margins online, we had 33%, and the margins for on-premise, we had 50%. So we just totaled their, if someone had on-premise and e-commerce, we totaled their e-commerce, multiplied it by 33%, and then we added the on-premise and multiplied that by 50%. Add both of those figures together, and that's what you would get. So for Dr. Elizabeth Conroy, for example, it's 1,440. And multiply that, we gave everyone an interest rate of 10%. And then by her prospective churn rate, again, you get to 14,000. So this is just right here, lists out all of our assumptions and of our retention rates and our margins for your, just to make things a little bit easier to see visually. And so this right here lists all the people, and you could just see each person's customer lifetime value, and you could sort this from largest to smallest or smallest to largest. And in our marketing plan, which Meg will talk about in the future, we kind of try to target the customers who spend more money and the more profit generating customers. And this is how you could find them, by filtering and sorting to get the largest customers with the highest lifetime value, such as Thomas Leguco right here, who has a customer lifetime value of $49,976.18. Now I'd like to pass it back to Jenna, who will further talk about our marketing plan and our recommendations on what you should do with this data.
Thank you, Luke. So now to touch on our marketing suggestions for your business. First, we want to touch on who your best customers are. It is important to reward your best customers. Every customer is valuable to your business, but after examining the customer lifetime values, it is clear to see which customers hold the most value to your winery. Your best customers are those club members who have a 0% churn rate, as this means that they have a 100% retention rate. Additionally, your best customers are customers that have made 2 or more purchases either online and on premise, as this shows that these customers are more likely to visit your winery more than once a year and continue to make repeat purchases online. Now, just to provide some examples of your top 3 best customers. The first one is Thomas Leguco, and his CLV came to a total of $49,978.18. Second was Yuri Linkel, and their CLV was $22,000, a little over. And finally, Diane Hackerberry, and her CLV was just under $20,000. So these are all wine club members that have a 0% churn rate, which means they have a 100% retention rate. Therefore, these are your repeat customers and customers that you definitely need to capitalize your business on in order to get the most value to your winery. Now, Luke is going to explain more about some strategy suggestions that we have going forward.
Thank you, Jenna. So the marketing strategy is segmented and twofold. There will be different strategies for the customers who mainly shop online and then on premise. E-commerce customers will receive coupons and email promotions frequently to remind them to continuously order online throughout the year. Another interaction online could include sending out surveys and opportunities to allow the customers to give their own feedback. There should also be targeted search engine optimization, where customers who mainly shop via e-commerce will receive targeted ads when they go to use their respective search engines. This will serve as a constant reminder and keep your winery on the forefront of your customers' minds. For those who mainly shop on-premise, their buying behavior is different, and your marketing strategy should reflect that. These are the customers who shop for the experience, not just the wine itself. For them, the winery should consider hosting an annual event for the top 100 customers. This can be something direct marketing can mention all year and incentivize people to purchase in order to be included in this inclusive and well-renowned event. I'd now like to pass it on to Meg to talk more about the marketing plan.
In our calculations, we made some assumptions about the margins, but with more accurate margins, we can show how much profit you make from each customer and their lifetime value as consumers. So if you have a better grasp of your margins, you'll know how much it costs you to sell to someone on premise versus how much it costs you to sell something online. So it's important to reward these customers as much as possible, and we've come up with a few marketing strategies to do so. And the motivation behind any marketing tactic is to have the customer return. For the customers who are returning and ordering online, it is important to reward them greatly. And we think you should focus your marketing efforts on these customers, the ones with the highest CLV and the ones who are buying through 2 sales channels. With our system, we have filtered and adjusted our calculations to see who is likely to come and who will most likely never come. For those who have never come, there's no need to give up on them entirely, but take a backseat marketing approach. This could look like sending the customer who have never visited, like just direct mail 2 to 3 times a year, just so they have a reminder if they're ever to change their mind. However, there's no need to do any targeting marketing or anything that takes up too much of your time and energy. But these marketing efforts should be focused on our customer with below a 20% churn rate. So these are the customers who are coming back, we're retaining them year after year, and they are very valued customers. These are customers who should be constantly incentivized to want to come and taste new wines. We also think a point system can be very valuable to wineries because there are so many repeat customers. This might look like a tactic. This might seem like a tactic that's mostly used in retail stores and lower cost retail stores, but I think it works perfectly with the wine club setup because these are repeat customers and they are coming back. And they shouldn't just be coming back for the wine. They should be coming back with incentive, with these points that they can redeem for like coupons or discounts on other wines. There are also many marketing strategies centered around wine specifically. So for example, the winery can advertise a new wine that they just received, and to incentivize orders, you could host and advertise a virtual event for those who plan to purchase the wine. This event could include wine experts, breakout groups to meet similar people who like talking about wine, and you could even include pairing recommendations within that. This will allow online-only consumers who have never visited to taste the in-person experience virtually. It is possible that if this event is successful, online-only customers will want to visit in person to experience the real thing. Another marketing tactic is to center bursts of marketing effort around major holidays. The three most wine-centric holidays are Christmas, Valentine's Day, and Mother's Day. It is important to frame the wine the winery is selling as the perfect gift for loved ones. In the data, we observed many people did not send their orders to their home addresses, but to others. These are the people you want to focus holiday marketing on because they have demonstrated their gift giving in the past in your data. Another tactic would be personalization marketing. This will require a delicate balance, however, as some customers might find it off-putting if their buying habits or feel like they're being attacked or like studied by like you and the looking through their data, pouring through their data, trying to figure them out. But our recommendation for a personalized marketing tactic is to look at these people who buy more than one type of specific wine. So like people who are you're looking at they're buying a couple Rieslings every time or a couple Pinots every time. So after their purchase, you'll want to send them out a survey to them and ask how they found the wine, if they enjoyed it, what they liked about it. And if they seem to like it, you could add them to a listserv for that specific wine. So break up listservs by people who love Rieslings, people who love Pinots. And that way, when those wines are restocked or another new one is added, they can be alerted upon this event, so they are incentivized to purchase. With a large online ordering body, it is crucial to maintain an online presence. The winery's social media should never be inactive and be as interactive with key customers as much as possible. This would look like posting stories and posts on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, or wherever social media your target market is concentrated. Interacting with customers is a great way to show how you value them. If they're reaching out and asking questions through social media, those questions should be answered promptly. Another tactic is to enlist and hire influencers and micro-influencers that your main customer base respects. This will require some marketing research that we are unable to provide with our limited data, but this could include posting polls about who your customers want to see, an example, wine experts, taste experts, or people who own specific brands, even people who maybe own cheese or like crackers or whatever these customers want to see. That's going to include more research, more posting about polls, inquiring from them who they want, and you provide that and bring it to them. Lastly, you could offer bundles that customers can purchase online that include wine, cheese, tasting guides, or what have you. These can be priced at a lower cost if the customers purchase the entire bundle, and it will give them a chance to experience the winery at home, and again, possibly incentivize them to want to feel the real deal and experience it at your wineries. Our marketing strategy is segmented, with our best efforts being focused on the customers with the highest customer lifetime values. The winery's goal is to get these customers in the wine club to repeat and increase their purchases every year. This will include a bunch of incentive tactics, wine-specific tactics, and online tactics. Marketing strategy should reflect buyer behavior, and your efforts should reflect the value of each customer. We know every customer is valuable, but through the math and through the data, we know that some are worth more to you than others are. The possibilities of what this data could do is endless. And by hiring a marketing consultant or analyst, that can transform this data into extremely valuable insights for your winery. This could include understanding how different states or regions buy directly could affect your marketing strategy for those regions or states. You could also directly find out what strategies are working and not working based on what wines are selling and when they're selling and why. So you can connect, okay, if we sent them out something towards Christmas, incentivizing them to buy for loved ones, see what wines people tend to purchase as gifts, or what, if it's a random day in the year, see what wines tend to purchase for themselves. With the data, you could even do maybe some things that are considered possibly a little invasive. You could look at like a person's property value and make assumptions on their income level and try and target them with more higher end wines. And with a more experienced coder and a marketer on your team, you could boost your winery's e-commerce and on-premise sales astronomically. This data is very valuable and it requires a lot of work to work on and to get anything out of it. But if you hire the right people, this could definitely happen. Along with this video we're submitting, we're also going to be sending you a report summarizing our findings with our emails. So please feel free to reach out if you need anything else. Thank you.